The tension between the FIA and Max Verstappen just hit a boiling point. After his explosive comments, the FIA's reaction is sending shockwaves through Formula One. What's the sequence of the events? Stay tuned to find out. And we've got some exciting Formula news for you, so stick around until the end to catch all the latest updates. Welcome to Formula Every Day. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell for more updates. Max Verstappen versus FIA. Dramatic comments ignite major response from officials. Max Verstappen's recent race performances in Austin and Mexico have reignited debates on the Dutch driver's aggressive approach, sparking mixed reactions from fans and officials alike. In Austin, Verstappen skillfully pushed the limits, causing Lando Norris to overtake outside track limits, leading to a penalty for the British driver. But things took a more controversial turn in Mexico, where Verstappen received two 10-second penalties for his hard-nosed tactics, actions that have now prompted some stewards to question if his style may need to evolve. Johnny Herbert, a former F1 driver and steward in Mexico, spoke openly about Verstappen's race conduct, emphasizing that he doesn't believe the penalties will make Verstappen change his style. Herbert argued that Verstappen's tactics in Mexico went beyond fair racing as he aggressively defended against Norris, possibly to prevent him from closing the gap in the championship standings. This, he noted, could mark a turning point in how such behavior is penalized moving forward. Despite the criticism, Verstappen has been clear that he sees his racing style as necessary under the current circumstances, particularly given Red Bull's recent drop in performance. The Red Bull RB20, once dominant, has lost its edge to McLaren and Ferrari, and Verstappen's aggressive defense may be a direct response to keep his championship hopes alive. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner echoed this sentiment, saying Verstappen's approach aligns with his interpretation of the regulations and that penalties should be used carefully to avoid overregulation. The recent penalties and steward scrutiny come as Verstappen holds a solid 47-point lead in the Drivers' Championship, but with only a handful of races left, the pressure is mounting. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff suggested that Verstappen might need to exercise more caution to avoid jeopardizing his title bid. Wolff argued that stricter interpretations of race rules could lead to a shift in Verstappen's approach, especially if the risk of penalties becomes a significant factor. Following Mexico's controversies, discussions among drivers, officials, and the FIA on what constitutes fair racing have intensified. The FIA, keen to ensure consistent enforcement, has faced calls to more clearly define what is and isn't acceptable on track. Many believe that drivers should be held accountable for forcing rivals off the track, and penalties for such actions may become more frequent in the remaining races and beyond. Verstappen's father, Jos Verstappen, has been outspoken in defending his son's driving style, arguing that it's necessary for a competitive edge. He even suggested that the FIA should examine the makeup of the stewards to ensure fair treatment, hinting that personal biases among officials could impact their decisions. Jos Verstappen believes his son will not alter his style just because some stewards disapprove, especially given the current performance limitations of Red Bull's car. Some drivers, including George Russell, have voiced their agreement on the need for stricter boundaries, with most drivers reportedly supporting clearer regulations after the recent drivers' meeting. Russell's comments indicate a desire among the grid for a fairer, more predictable racing environment, setting the tone for the remaining races this season and into 2025. With emotions high and a championship on the line, the next races promise to be tense. Verstappen has shown little intention of backing down, and with the potential for further penalties, the pressure is on the FIA to balance enforcement with letting drivers race. The governing body's decisions in these final races could shape not only Verstappen's season, but also set a precedent for future championship battles. Ultimately, the spotlight is on Verstappen and the FIA. The challenge will be to draw the line between hard racing and overly aggressive behavior. As the season nears its climax, Verstappen's racing tactics and the FIA's response will undoubtedly influence the championship outcome and the standards of Formula One racing for years to come. In our view, Verstappen's aggressive style adds intensity and excitement to Formula One, embodying the no-holds-barred spirit of racing that fans love. His determination to push the boundaries, even if it risks penalties, showcases the intense level of competition at play. However, when this approach repeatedly crosses the line into potentially unsportsmanlike territory, it puts pressure on the FIA to balance fair play with the freedom to race. This tension between hard racing and rule enforcement has become a key issue as Verstappen contends with close rivals and Red Bull faces more competition than in previous seasons. On the other hand, the FIA's role is to ensure safety and fairness for all drivers. As they decide how to handle Verstappen's tactics going forward, they will need to establish a clear and consistent standard for the rest of the season and beyond. Drivers and fans alike want competitive, close racing without unpredictable rulings that detract from the sport. With a championship still in play, the FIA's response could either affirm Verstappen's style as acceptable under certain limits or redefine what is considered fair in future races, shaping the sport's evolution in the process. What do you think? As a fan, do you enjoy Verstappen's aggressive style, seeing it as part of the excitement of Formula One? Or do you feel that such tactics cross the line and need stricter regulation to ensure fair competition? With the season nearing its end and the championship at stake, do you believe the FIA should adjust its approach to maintain balance? Or is this just part of the sport's natural drama? Hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments your opinion. See you soon.